This is the Violent Professional Podcast brought to you by AriesClothing.com.
Well, hello everybody. Thank you for checking out another installment of Mike Talk Shit about shit, and you're gonna listen to this fucking shit. Because here we are, peeps. We're here on the Violent Professional Podcast. It's a monumental shift in the way we do podcasts. At least in the Violent Professional Podcast. I'm going to do some stuff here tonight. Or today. Or whenever the fuck you're listening. I don't give a fuck when you're listening. You know? But if you are listening, give me a thumbs up. Give me a fucking like. Give me a comment on any place that you're listening. We're gonna fucking change things up, dudes and dudettes, because there's actually quite a bit of women that listen to this, because we're an equal opportunity podcast. You know, we're gonna fucking change things up. I have a suggestion from one of the originals, the OG7. All right, and if you don't know what the fucking 7 are, how dare you? How fucking dare you? Come at me with that bullshit, all right? Go back, shut this fucking episode off. Go listen to episode 13, I believe. I think that's when we did the original chapter of the OLP saga. It's one of 3 chapters. I shut it off there. I don't know why we stopped at episode 3, chapter 3. I do know, but we've got more in store for the OLP. Just be happy about that. There's something coming for that shit. There's plans in the work, if that means anything to you. We're talking about doing some more shit with the OLP because we kind of left it. Then we did the Jackson City Mustache Riders, and we didn't finish that shit. So we got to finish that. But we got plans in store for the fucking OLP. So just stay tuned. You know, like you're tuning in on the old radio box or some shit in your house in 1920s, where everybody had to listen to the stories on the fucking airwaves. All right, yeah, I want to do an episode because it's been a while, and I hope you guys had a good fucking October. I hope you guys and girls had a good fucking Hallows Eve. You know, I wish that I could have been back here in my home, not my home state. I'm not going to claim this fucking state. Washington sucks a big fat cock. But I wish I could be back in Washington with my son, my offspring, and so I could dress in all of the, I could take part in the pageantry. Because I enjoy Hallows Eve. I enjoy it thoroughly. You get the candy, you get the fucking pageantry, you get all of the fucking costumes out there. This year, I would have dressed as Wallace, the walrus from Tusk. I would have shimmied up and down the fucking boulevard in my walrus suit, carved out of human skin. I would have done it. But first, I didn't have human skin, and secondly, I wasn't here in Washington with my fucking son. So I could not gallivant on the boulevard with my fucking child in a walrus suit that I carved out of human flesh. That's one thing. But next year I'm going to do it big. I don't think I have to go anywhere next Halloween, but it always fucking changes, so I don't know yet. Just give me time. I was called by one of my friends. He's the OG7. Again, if you haven't listened to the fucking OLP episodes, you don't know what I'm talking about. OG7, go back to episode 13, or go on SoundCloud and pull up the fucking playlist for the OLP's epic saga, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But my friend Jeremy, who's going to be featured on some of the future episodes because we've already started talking on the phone, he said that he listened to a few of the episodes of me by myself, and I made his skin crawl. And that's fucked up, Jeremy. God damn it, Jeremy. I just want you to accept me and love me as I loved you at one point. But he said I made his skin crawl by listening to me because it made him realize that I'm developing a manifesto for the world. I didn't understand what he said. I didn't understand what he was talking about, but I get it. I get it that this is the fucking ranting of a madman. This podcast should be called something else. It should be called something else. It shouldn't be The Violent Professional. Because, you know, that pertained to the first few episodes, but now it's just bananas. If I could be so blunt, bananas all over this fucking podcast. Because I literally have no focus for this podcast. If you have been listening for this, if you've been on episode 1 through 70, you're like, what fucking happened? This is what happened. Episode 71 is what fucking happened. All right? All right? Just give me a fucking break. Jeremy, if you're listening to this, I want you to know that it's only going to get crazier from here. This manifesto is going to continue until something bad happens, I guess. But here we are. Here we fucking are. All right? It's going to continue. And Jeremy, I love you, but fuck you. All right? Don't ever call me and say you're my fucking podcast made your skin crawl. You continue to listen. I'm sure you're listening to this. But anyway, go back to fucking... If you're not Jeremy and you're fucking listening to this, go to episode 13. Listen to fucking OLP chapter 1 and then find chapter 2 and 3 because I don't know what episodes they are, but go find them. They're listed clearly in the Spotify, Apple, iTunes, or wherever the fuck you listen to podcasts. You know, go on there and fucking listen to them. All right, enough bullshitting, enough nonsense. I want you guys. I'm gonna kick this episode off after about 8 minutes or so with my favorite song ever. And here we go. Hold on, stop. I'm gonna stop. I gotta get set up. I fucked that up so hard. All right, so it's rising on the fucking the charts. And when I say charts, it's on my fucking charts. I don't need no charts. It's rising on all of the fucking club banger charts. And here we go. Because I know that some of you out there listening to this fucking podcast, you're like, God damn it, when is Mike gonna fucking play a club banger? Well, there it goes!
Dudes on vacation. Dude celebration. Dudes on vacation. Dude celebration. Dudes on vacation. Dude celebration. Doing cool shit with dudes on vacation.
Oh my God!
And let me point to the president. The Macho Man Randy Savage is not happy with your decision. Larry Bird plays basketball, yeah.
He does play basketball. I'm sure of it. I'm sure he plays basketball, and I'm sure that you enjoyed that. I mean, some of you just got out of your fucking seats. You got out of your seats and you're fucking dancing because you deserve a good club banger in your life. And, well, Dudes on Vacation is that fucking club banger for you. I'm sure of it. All right? Now, enough with the nonsense. I had a lot of hate on that video all over the interwebs because I used a political figure as the person for the fucking promo video for it. But Dudes on Vacation, god damn, that's some fucking fire. I fucking spit that fire out of my fucking brain nugget. You know, people love Dudes on Vacation. I've gotten hit up multiple times. People are like, bro, that shit's fire, bro. I'm like, I know, bro. I want to start after, I can't follow that shit up with anything more fire, but I want to talk about Burton Design Knives. They are not a sponsor of this podcast, but they're fucking awesome. If you're on YouTube, if you're on YouTube right now, go subscribe. Hit the button that says subscribe. I don't know where it is on your screen, but hit the button that says subscribe. And bell notifications, because that's a fucking thing, because they want you to hit multiple things, because apparently people aren't sure if when they hit subscribe if they want to see more. So subscribe, bell notifications. But look at this goddamn blade. If you're on fucking SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, you're not seeing this shit unless I'm describing it perfectly accurate. But goddamn, look at this fucking blade. Look at this thing. It's awesome. Burton Design Knives, they're not a sponsor of the podcast, but they sent me this fucking blade because I asked him to make a certain blade for me that I will not show on this podcast. But they fucking knocked it out of the park with this one that I didn't ask for. It's so dope. I love it. And so if you're looking on YouTube, you could see the sheath, which is another thing. I'll just take that out. It has this leather band that goes around that you can slide your belt loop through, you can slide your belt through. It's completely concealable, and it's got this awesome texture on the handle. Show that shit. I love it. It's so fucking dope. It fits in my hand just perfectly, and it stabs shit. I'm sure of it. I haven't used it yet because honestly, when I get stuff that's really nice and new, I don't want to fucking... I actually don't want to use it because I'm like, this is so fucking cool. And what's awesome about it is I know that it's handmade because I've talked to the dude plenty of times, and you can see little tiny defects in the production of it that's so different than buying, say, a blade from a big time commercial knife maker. It's unique, which is awesome. If you like cool shit, getting something that's one of a kind, even if they make multiple versions of this, or they sell this as a staple within their company, it's a one of a kind item because there's little tiny defects, because that somebody in the company is fucking chiseling away at the shit, making it fucking perfect. And then the next one they make is totally different because it's got a different texture on it. It's, the person that's making it is like, I think it looks good this way. So, yeah, go to Burton Design Knives. He sent me 3 knives now, and here's another one if you're on YouTube. Check that shit out. It's got a handle I'm not too fond of, but it's got this little thumb thing that you could cut up a deer or some shit. Plastic Kydex sheath on it. They all come with sheaths, Kydex stuff, and it's awesome. Who doesn't love fucking knives? Maybe pussies. They're scared of knives. But anyway, yeah. So thanks, Burton Design Knives. Go to @Burton Design Knives on Instagram. Check them out. Tell them we sent you. Use code TaskDev and get 10% off, I think. I'm not quite sure on what they give you, but go check it out. It's fucking awesome. Next on the fucking piece of paper is, this week's been crazy. Let me drink this fucking beer real quick. Oh, yeah. I thought you guys would want to hear me drink. This week's been crazy. People in my fucking network thought a certain person was going to win the election. Well, it turns out it's not true necessarily. We don't know for sure. Today when I'm recording, what is today? It is November 12th. And the election was a few days ago. which is fucking nuts because we don't have a president yet. We do have a president. We have a president right now, but we do not have a president-elect as much as everybody wants to say. It's the fucking weirdest thing. You know, you got to know a little bit about the Constitution. You got to know a little bit about America. You got to know a little bit of something. But guess what? There's been no president-elect yet. As much as everybody's saying that Joe Biden has won, he hasn't won yet. It's projected. There's a little bit about the United States that's a little bit weird. A lot of bit weird, but he's not the president yet. He's not even the president-elect yet. Because in December is when all of the... And I may be wrong. I drank a little bit, all right? As many of the podcasts. But when they place their votes, it's going to be December. And so we'll figure it out then. We're like, yes, for sure. But right now, if you may or may not have heard, there's a little bit of question about some of the states. There's some weird shit going on. There's some talk of voter fraud. And I don't even know what the fuck to think. All right? I'm confused on all levels. But it doesn't much affect my life. I walked outside the day of the election. I was like, oh, fuck, man. I thought all of this craziness was going to be over. There's going to be a new president elected, or there's going to be the same president elected, and they're going to be like, oh, coronavirus is over. And I'll be like, oh, that's super dope. Yeah, I'll throw out the devil horns and I'll go jump out of the plane. But guess what, motherfuckers? There's no fucking change. It's still the same president, and no one's been elected because no states have certified their fucking electors. So, we're still here. How much does it affect my life? 0. It doesn't affect. I don't give a fuck who's president. I don't fucking care. I just don't want to be taxed out of my ass. So therefore, I vote for a libertarian every time. I don't give a fuck. All right? So, election day is over. And one thing is certain. That nothing is fucking certain. Nothing's fucking certain. There's nothing certain about this fucking present we live in. And I don't mean present like Christmas is coming up. There's nothing certain about this fucking time. Look, I'm looking at me on the screen. Nothing is fucking certain. So, people want to know. People have hit me up, be like, what do you think about all this shit? And I'm like, I don't know. Shit's crazy. I know I like beer. I know I don't like taxes. I know I don't like the HOA hitting me up and going, your gutters are a little bit dirty. You need to pay us $150. I don't like any of that. I don't like socialism. I don't think it's good. Oh, fucking beer. Please don't. Please don't spill on my table. My nice table. I do not like socialism. I don't think that everybody deserves shit. Call me crazy. I don't think that if you don't work, you don't deserve shit. If you're a piece of fucking garbage, I don't think you deserve shit. Like, you know, I don't want to be bothered by the government. I don't want to think about the fucking president this much. I never thought about presidents before this time. You know, I've only voted twice in my life, and one of them was the last election, and one of them was this election. And it's just crazy. Like, I don't want to fucking be compelled to vote, if that's crazy. Like, I don't want to be in a position to go, I need to vote. Like, I don't want to ever have that. I just want to be like, okay, federal government does its thing. I don't give a fuck who's president. It would be awesome. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm crazy. If it would be awesome if you're just like, yeah, I don't give a shit about either of them. And you're just like, yeah, I'm going to go back to what I was doing. That would be fucking awesome. You know? It would be fucking so dope to just not worry about anything. But it's been like the past few years. I don't even think like when Obama was president or like the 8 years he was president that anybody gave a fucking shit. They're like, Yeah, we need a black president. That was the only fucking thing that people were saying. And then it happened. And then we got an asshole in the fucking White House. And then it fucking makes everybody go fucking bananas on all sides. And you're kind of forced because you're like, your neighbors and everybody are just like, I don't give a fuck about any of it. I don't fucking care. So I wish we could go back. This is what I wish about the fucking presidency, is that we could go back to like everyone just going like, well, it's not thinking so much about all of the bullshit. You know what I mean? And excuse me, I've been drinking a little bit, so I don't know much about politics. I'm not like, if you're here to check out what my political stance is on anything, my political stance is, how much does tax on beer cost? That's what I fucking care about. I don't care about the rest of it. I don't care about any of it. All right?
Ping Pong Tactical is a tactical hard-use gear company out of the Pacific Northwest. They have a plethora of holsters and accessories as unique as you are, built to your exact specifications. You want a holster with a dragon on it? Maybe you want a holster with 2 dragons intertwined looking back at you. Well, if you want that, they got you, son. You want a place to put your screaming keys so they're easier to locate when they scream at you? They got you as well. You got a weed rolling tray, man? No? Well, it'd be a lot cooler if you did, man. Just ask Logan over at Ping Pong Tactical, and he will hook you up with any Codex your little black heart desires. So go check them out at pingpongtactical.com and use code VIOPRO at checkout for 10% off your entire order, man.
You know, I wrote the candidates down, and I'm going to tell you what I think about each of them. So the first one up is Trump. Daddy Trump, right? People want to know what I think about Trump. I think what Trump should have done, this is what I think, as a straight up, like, in the middle, like, don't bother me, libertarian type of perspective. I think instead of screaming and saying like, oh, I was the best president, I won this election, all this shit on Twitter, if you look at this stuff, if there is voter fraud, get your lawyers, go to fucking thing. And obviously it's like a fucking reality show right now. Get your lawyers, Giuliani and everybody, go to court and prove that there was voter fraud. Prove it, okay? Prove there was fucking voter fraud. I want, if there is voter fraud, which I don't deny that there is, go fucking prove it in court. Do it. Make it happen, because I would love nothing more than the party of the screaming children to get their fucking faces shoved in and proved that there was voter fraud going on. Like, they fucking had a bunch of dead people's names and blah, blah, blah. Which, by the way, has been going on since the beginning of fucking elections. Prove it. Go to court. And shut the fuck up. You don't have to fucking always tweet. Like, that's the thing that annoys me about it. And I'm not anti-Trump. By the way. But I want you to fucking prove it instead of screaming about it on Twitter. Every fucking, if you looked at the election day, it was every fucking 10 minutes. We won this state. We won the state. I won this election. Shut the fuck up and prove it. Go to court. That's what it's for, motherfucker. Okay? And if you won the fucking election, fucking awesome. Great. Cool. But fucking go to court, prove it, do all the legal shit, get your lawyers, prove all these states were fucking legal fraud. Sweet. Or fucking illegal fraud. Election fraud. Sweet. Now Now, what do I think about Biden? Because you're going to ask, you'll be like, this motherfucker doesn't support Trump. Let me fucking tell you about Biden. What I think about Biden. I think Biden is strictly a fucking candidate that, like, people are literally just voting for because they hate Trump more than anything. Because, and here's the deal. Like, people hate Trump because he says everything that comes to his fucking head, which is much like I do, which is on a different level because people aren't screaming at me for the most part. Like, there's people that scream at me because of fucking videos I've made. But, like, Trump is very much like that. I'm from New York originally. Trump's from wherever. He's from fucking Northeast or the East Coast. I think he's from New York or New Jersey or one of those places. But, like, one of the things is, like, a lot of the times I've gotten in trouble in my life is that I've said stuff, which is, like, I literally say stuff without any sway in it. I just say factual statements, but in a very blunt manner, and it pisses people off. Like, there has been many times when I've gotten in trouble for things that I have said because I'm just saying what's in my brain without any fucking, let me think about this person's feelings. It's part of, like, New York, me growing up in New York, and I'm not talking about New York City. There's a whole greater state but New York City. Like, I was from upstate, and upstate is basically everywhere but New York City. So if you go, there's Long Island too, which is like to the east of New York City, and people will still say you're upstate if you're Long Island. So upstate, New York and New York City is such a small section of the fucking New York State, and New York State looks like it's humongous. Like it's like a good portion of Texas or Alaska or anything. It's actually a big state. You know, not huge, but it's a big state. And so you could drive for fucking hours from New York City and everybody's like, you're upstate. Or you could drive fucking 10 minutes from New York City and people are like, you live upstate. Like, you know, because there's no city. So it's one of those things, like, but regardless, like, if you're from fucking, like, within 4 hours of New York City, you kind of talk a certain way and you're fucking raised a certain way and you say certain things. And so people will be like, if you go anywhere else in the United States, and let me tell you, people will be like, you're a fucking asshole. And I'm like, no, I'm just saying what I fucking think without any sway. Shut the fuck up, you pussy. Like, so one of the things about Trump and, like, everybody is they fucking hate him. Like, just hate him because he says stuff. And again, I'm not pro-Trump, I'm not anti-Trump. I'm very ambivalent on the whole fucking thing. Some days I'm like, God damn it, why can't you just be like this? Or, yeah, right on. Like, but it's one of the things, like, I wish, and I'm rambling right now, so, you know, there's people that voted for Biden not because of his character, his, you know, his ability to speak. Obviously, if you've seen him speak, he can't fucking say half the words. Kind of like me. If I could be so honest, like, I say some fucked up words sometimes, or I spell or whatever. But it's dumb to, I think personally it's dumb to vote for somebody based on a characteristic. So to vote for Trump based on a characteristic because he says, tells it like it is, that's a dumb reason to fucking vote for somebody. Honestly, he tells it like it is. He's not a politician, all that stuff. I think it's dumb to vote for Biden because he's not an asshole. I think it's dumb to vote for Biden because he's more presidential. It doesn't squash the fact that he is single-handedly, I wouldn't say single-handedly, I did though, but you know, you gotta look at the fucking crime bill, all the things that he's done. If you're gonna vote for him, be like, if you're just voting for him because you fucking hate Trump, you're an asshole. Seriously, look at his background and what he has done to all of the communities, to include the African American community. Everybody wants to scream that Trump is racist, but if you look at Joe Biden's background, he's more racist than Trump. Let's just fucking put it out there. Look at the fucking crime bill and all of the crack epidemic of the fucking past. Anyway, let's move on because I don't want this podcast to turn political. I've said it plenty of times. All I want to say is that I'm disappointed that Jo Jorgensen didn't do better. I was pulling for her. Jo Jorgensen is the patron saint of Mount St. Olympus on Mars. If you listen to the fucking the OLP episodes, you know what I'm talking about, okay? Stop fucking around. Listen to episode 13. Get that OLP cult in your life, all right? I want to put out some facts right now. I'm not going to put up the fucking... I want to put out some facts right now, and, what's shocking to me is that among the two candidates, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, Jo Jorgensen got 1.2% of the vote, the popular vote, which equates to 1.8 million votes this election cycle. We're gaining traction. Actually, we lost. If you're a libertarian or you listen to this as a libertarian, we lost traction because the previous election cycle, we got 4.5 million votes of the popular vote over the last year. So, Gary Johnson, we in the election of 2016, we had Gary Tugboat Johnson with 4.5 million votes. That's a good portion of the United States population. It's more than Jo Jorgensen this year, who looks as if she stole someone's skin and peeled it off and placed it over her own body. I was hoping for Mama Joe, but Gary Tugboat Johnson, that middle name is, I've made that shit up. Gary Tugboat Johnson. I just had to come up with something. I think it's funny to put like fucking middle names on people. Anyway, let's get out of this political shit. Fuck that. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Shit. Strikeforce Energy is a fucking fantastic fucking drink. You get that shit and you fucking wake up in the morning. It came in on the fucking Pony Express. Paul Revere himself, if he was alive, he would have brought that shit right into your fucking suck hole. He'd take the fucking pump bottle, insert it into your face, and smash the top so you get that fucking natural flavor enhancer in your body. Now, I don't know if it's natural, but it sure as hell tastes like it belongs in my body. And it should belong in your body too. So go ahead, go to StrikeForceEnergy.com and use code EvilVibes at checkout and you get 20% off all of the shit that they have on their store. That includes fucking water bottles to put Strikeforce Energy in. It involves hats, cats. I don't know if they sell cats, but they probably should, Get fucking as hyped as you can on fucking Strikeforce Energy like a cat on catnip, speaking of which. And with, the hustle and bustle of busy life, why would you waste time going to the fucking gas station or the grocery store to get you a fucking energy drink when you could just have that shit on your counter ready to go? You get the pump bottle, you get the fucking packets, you squirt that shit in water, boom, you're fucking done and off to the races. Anyway, go to StrikeForceEnergy.com, use code EvilVibes for 20% off your entire order of Strikeforce Energy. All right, so I'm gonna move on to something that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I don't think you knew I was gonna talk about today, at least. What's this? Beer? Yep, put it in there. Okay. So, this past weekend, I got balls deep in the Aliens movies. I remember watching them as a child. I don't know how old, but I remember watching them. And so there was like a fucking, an algorithm published some shit in my fucking feed, and I was like, something happened with seeing an image of Ripley from the Alien series, and I was like, hey, I should watch those because I know that they're awesome, and I've seen like 2 of them, but let me start from the beginning. And so I looked up and I researched what order should I watch the Alien movies in. And it was like Prometheus, Covenant, Aliens, Alien 3, which sounds weird, but it's Alien. Aliens is Alien 2, and Alien 3 is the third, and then Alien Resurrection. I'm currently on Alien 3. So I watched Prometheus, Covenant, and Aliens, and now I'm on Alien 3. With one more to go. I'm on Alien Resurrection and then Aliens. And in my research, I found out they're talking about another Alien movie. But then you can throw in Predator, which there's Alien vs. Predator, all that shit, and you can look at side stories. And you can go off on there's comic books and stuff, and I'm not going to get into that shit. I just want to watch the movies. The book was better. Fuck you. All right? As I'm watching the fucking Aliens movie, the one thing I thought is, why don't they ever get full? I eat a tiny chicken and I'm full. I have some chicken broth and I'm full. Why the fuck don't the aliens get fucking full? It seems like bullshit. You can look at movies and be like, oh, there's all these little things. What the fuck? What is going on? You look at the movies we did for this last Halloween, and be like, there's no point. You look at a lot of the shit in any movies, there's no point. I will say that alien movies are flawless. They're flawless. The one thing that I will bring up is that they never get full, which is weird because I could eat to excess. I could probably eat more than an alien. And they devour humans. They also impregnate humans, which is weird. It doesn't matter male or female. But my question is, why don't they ever get hungry? For James Cameron, he fucking produces a lot of these movies. He made most of them. And why don't they get hungry? Or, excuse me, why don't they get full? I was very confused about that part. I was very confused about why they and it goes for like Jurassic Park or anything. If everything is like the same, which it would be, it doesn't matter which kind of organic life, eventually you get full. You're not going to be able to fill a bunch of your fucking gullet with human meat. Eventually you get full. So what the fuck are we talking about here? An alien that just goes over and bites them with this extra set of teeth that comes out like it's on an arm? Fucking punctures the body. Eventually you'll be like, I'm so full. Fuck. And then it goes like this. Bleh. Bleh. Then it's just like you on Thanksgiving, where you're just like eating too much turkey. Like you're just like with these teeth like, God damn it, I don't want to eat anymore. I can't stomach anymore. So that's the one thing I didn't get about the whole alien thing. It's just going around fucking biting people. Like sticking its fucking mouth tube on people. Yes. The other thing I didn't get was why the fuck did anybody fucking cast Bill Paxton? Because Bill Paxton is an alien too. Aliens. Essentially, the second alien movie that was ever made. And like, it made me think, is there a typecast for pussies? Because that's essentially what Bill Paxton is. I used to watch movies in the fucking 80s and 90s as a youngster. a little squirt. And I would see Bill Paxton. I didn't think much of it until recently as I'm watching fucking, I'm a grown man right now. I've got man tendencies. I'm a fucking man. I got hairy man chest and I got fucking man things I do, like change my oil, fucking switch a tire out or two. But Bill Paxton doesn't do any of those things. And I see him on movies. Maybe he's different, but he plays the perfect pussy. I'm just going to be honest. Like, every movie I've seen him, and maybe you'll fucking think about it, be like, every movie I've seen with Bill Paxton, he's a giant pussy as well. Because he fucking is. Bill Paxton is typecast as a pussy. He's never really been awesome and, he's a good actor, I guess. I couldn't do what he did. But maybe he's awesome at being a fucking giant puss in the 80s films. I don't fucking know. I'll use an example. I saw Aliens with an S, which is Alien 2. And he was a giant pussy. He's like, well, man, what are we gonna fucking do? We're fucking dead. You've seen that fucking character from the 80s. It's always the same. They're always like, well, we're fucked, man. We're fucking fucked. We're fucking fucked. And they fucking die. They're the people that fucking bring the whole crew down. Everybody else is like, God damn it, calm down. And they grab him by the shirt and they slap him. Well, that's Bill Paxton in every movie. And I'll give you an example. Go look at Aliens, Alien 2, Aliens. You can download this shit on fucking Amazon Prime. And then go check out fucking True Lies. A fucking classic. True Lies. He's the greasy car salesman that's like pretending to be a fucking like an international spy or some shit for the CIA, and like he's trying to fuck Arnold Schwarzenegger's girlfriend, Jamie Lee Curtis. Famously, he's trying to fuck her famously, but he's a giant pussy when the fucking Terminator shows up and goes, you can watch it, but he's his character. I looked it up. His character is called Simon because I literally went on Google. I was like, damn, Bill Paxton is typecast as a pussy. What's his characters? Oh, there's a whole list of fucking pussy characters. Bill Paxton plays. God damn it! But in True Lies, which is awesome because Schwarzenegger gets in a fucking Harrier jet and flies off and saves the day. Bill Paxton's character is called Simon. And he's a car salesman. But as I'm watching this fucking movie, I'm like, man, the 80s and 90s are so, they're seamless, right? So the 80s were just a certain way, a certain look, which is very different than the fucking 70s. It's very different. But the 90s are kind of like the flannel era. Like, I'm wearing flannel right now. It came back, baby, but the 80s and the 90s are fucking very similar. And I'll say that because I watched Alien 1 through 3, and they're just, it's like there's no change in technology. It's funny because if you look at the technology, it's like they developed CGI over that time, like all of the 3D effects for video games and shit, the precursor to all the video games you see. And it's almost like from the 80s, which is very like realistic, like everybody's wearing a costume, the alien walks around, he looks stupid as shit when you see it today, to where they develop 3D graphics and it's like, holy fuck, it gets worse, But it's like all that shit's timeless. And one of the things that I noticed is you cannot tell how old people are. I think what's her fucking face? Who is it? Who played the fucking the fucking lady that was Sigourney Weaver. Awesome actress from the 80s and 90s. And I think she did some other shit after that, but fucking phenomenal. Like, if you look at acting and actresses and actors and stuff like that, she's fucking awesome. She plays a great character from the 80s and 90s. But after that, I don't know so much. But it's fucking you can't tell how old she is, because I think at one point they say she's like 20, but she looks like she's fucking the same age. Like, what did they give people back then? Like, what were they putting in the water? She looks old as shit back then in the fucking 80s and 90s, but she's probably like fucking 30. I don't know. Or she's probably 20. Who knows? You know, the only way you can tell that these people are fucking a certain age, you got to look at their bush like the way you look at a tree. When you cut a tree down, you be like, oh, that tree was 15 because there's rings. And then, like, it depends on how big their bush is. You know, that's how fucking old they are. It's like if it's 3 inches, you're 30. You've grown. You've got a huge bush. You're 30. Your bush pushes your fucking hands out. You know, one of the things is like, you know, there's a common thing that people talk about. They're like, if I had a fucking machine gun in the 1400s or some shit. And it's like, you know, that's all well and good. Like if we talk about real life, but if you're in movies from like the 80s and 90s, none of that shit applies. I was watching the fucking Alien movie and it's like they had machine guns and they're battling a fucking alien horde. It's like they got their asses kicked. They're like, where are they? And they're like swinging these machine guns around. And they're just still getting eaten. It's like you would think, be like, oh yeah, if I had a fucking thing. So you think back to the 1400s with this fucking onslaught of fucking barbarians or some shit. It's like, no. If I look at the fucking movies from the 80s, no fucking way. They'd still get fucking killed. Because you're shooting and then there's like this horde from the side still coming up with battle axes and shit. And they're berserkers on top of that? Come on now. So fuck you and your fucking conspiracy theory about the fucking, oh, if I had a machine gun back there, I'd kill everybody. You eventually run out of fucking bullets. And if I know any of you motherfuckers, you'd be pulling that fucking trigger hot. Dude, you'd be fucking spraying down that section of the crowd. You got 200 bullets. You can't kill the fucking horde of 1,000. Fuck you. You have to pick up a battle axe from all the people that got shot by arrows. So shut the fuck up, you and your fucking things. You have crates of ammo that you just transported through time. You brought in that time machine that looks like an egg conveniently in every fucking science fiction movie. You brought a bunch of fucking crates of ammo. Fuck you. Shut the fuck up. You die. You die. That's what you do. The one thing that I did find out, and you know this in the Me Too era, is that aliens didn't adhere to that concept of fucking treating everybody with respect because they impregnated everybody. It didn't matter man or woman. You know, they're the Harvey Weinstein of fucking the alien race. They just shoot their fucking face, grabbing face with the fingers and they put them over their face and put their fucking thing inside of them. They put their thing inside of them and then they fucking lay eggs in their body and then a fucking thing shoots out, you know? They're the rapists of the alien world. The aliens are the rapists of the alien world. And that's true. And to finish this fucking horrible section up about the fucking 80s and 80s movies, you know, it's the one thing about it is like what I realize is that everybody's running around in whitey tighties or, you know, like they're running around in underwear, and I thought, like, man, like, Haynes must have had some stock in fucking Hollywood back then because they're all running around, nipples poking out, dickies poking out. They're just fucking running around in fucking underwear, in their pantaloons. And it gets a little weird, you know? Super weird. But it's a nonstop fucking Haynes commercial in the 80s and 90s. Uncana is a CBD company. They make all kinds of CBD products which help people get over shit like anxiety, aches and pains, and general bullshit of the world. Uncana takes the edge off of life. Everybody's talking about CBD. There's a lot of great companies out there. But if I'm going to pick a company to put in my fucking body, I'm going to choose Uncana. You know, you go to Uncana.com, you use code VIOPRO, you get 25% off of all of the CBD products. At least go there and research. They got plenty of information, some fact sheets, the data on how pure and safe their product truly is. What do you have to lose, kids? Go check it out on Canada.com and make sure you use VioPro at checkout for 25% off your entire order of CBD. I also thought about this. I'm like, I like to cook the chicken broth. And you might be asking, what the fuck does that mean? Doesn't make much sense, does it? No, I take little tiny chickens. You heard on previous episodes? Little tiny chickens. I grab 2 of them. They're little Cornish game hens. I take them in a fucking crock pot with some water. And I just boil them for fucking 2 days straight. And I make some chicken broth out of them because essentially Cornish game hens are chickens. They're just little tiny chickens. And I make some broth, and you get all that broth, and you fucking sip that shit, and it makes you feel good in the morning. You wake up, you don't need an energy drink. You don't need Strike Force energy, even though if you get the Strike Force energy, you use code VioPro, you get fucking some money off, 20% off. You get that Strike Force energy in your body. But you get the chicken in the crock pot, you fucking boil it with water and it turns into the fucking wonderful chicken juice. And you drink that shit, and as soon as it hits your body, it's like, well, goddamn, I feel amazing. But usually Cornish game hens, they come in these little plastic sacks, and you take the sack and you hold it up over the sink or a fucking receptacle or some shit, and you take a knife and stab it in there and then fucking slice, and it sprays out chicken juice and full of blood. And it's like you put that in the crock pot too, because you want to save all that those fucking nutrients from the chicken butt. And you pour it in there, you make some fine chicken juice, and then you drink it in a few days, and it's fucking fantastic. You get all the chicken stem cells, you get all the power of the tiny chicken in your body. And you take that sip, and you're like, oh my God, fuck, I feel amazing. It's kind of like a hit, kind of like a little hit of drugs, but a nondescript drugs. And I was wondering, I was like, I wonder if there was something bigger and smarter than us. You go back to like, how much how much smarter are we than chickens, little chickens and Cornish game hens? They just run around and eat bugs and shit. It's like, take that difference of the smartness of a fucking little Cornish game hen and us, and then go, okay, what's next after that? And it's scary as fuck to think about. It's scary to think. Like, if you take the movie Aliens, and like, there's supposedly the fucking the most perfect species ever, and they have psychic ability and shit, and they don't have eyes, and they just run around and fucking nuke shit left and right, and they don't give a fuck. But it's kind of like how you would look. Like, if we think about, like, that could be a realistic thing, that's how chickens look at us. And so I was like, what if there was something smarter, faster, and fucking way bigger than us? They would do the same thing to us. They would fucking cut our heads off, cut our feet and fucking our hands and hoofs off, and put us in little plastic bags sealed up for a year of expiration. And then they just fucking put us in a crock pot that's way bigger than the house I live in. And they're just like, put a bunch of people in there, and then they fucking cook us and they sip on us. That's some crazy shit to think about. It's like, why are we the last stop in this whole train? I walk my dog in the morning. It takes a massive shit. And there's always these two anthills that are always interconnected, and I look at them, I'm like, how many ants are out today? It's like, why aren't the fucking aliens looking at us like that? They probably are. But it's like, you can eat ants and you could eat chickens and all that shit. It's like, why are we the last stop? There's got to be something more. But it's horrifying to think that we are, like, if there's people out there and there's something bigger, if there is something bigger, they probably have a grocery store that's just a little bit different than ours. And they're like, yep, I need this for food. And then they pull it out, and it's like, they cut off all the other shit, like the fucking hands, hooves, the fucking head, because they're not eating the head. Maybe they're sucking up our brains. And that's a specialty you get somewhere else on a different aisle. But they're getting all the fucking strength. They're getting all the fucking power, and they continue to grow against us, against our wills, against our power. And it makes me think there's got to be something bigger, and we've got to be in sacks somewhere in plastic, you know. And I'll finish this episode by saying that we are the tiny chickens of our story. And you are the tiny chicken of your story. Because we're all wrapped in plastic, and it's fantastic. You know, don't let that little ditty get you down. None of this should get you down. It's a nonsense story. It's a cautionary tale to what's actually happening. And with that, kids, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Violent Professional Podcast, episode 71! You know, go check out our sponsors. If you believe in this podcast and you like to listen to me ramble over a few drinks, if you like to listen to this shit and you're just like, I don't know what's going to happen next, which honestly, we're in the same place because I don't know. I just write out a few things on a piece of paper. And then maybe it happens. I didn't even get to the rest of this. I got a whole other section. Maybe this will be another episode of the podcast. How much time are we at? You know, we got more time. I could fucking do this. I could add this in. Don't let it down. Don't let it let you down. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just let it ride and we'll do this next time. I think that's the best option for this situation. Because it should be this fucking thing that I want to do is suggested by one of my buddies. I think I talked about it several times, but I'm hammered, so I don't know. We're gonna do a little bit of thing on the next one, and it's I've been writing from time to time, and I have some good ones. And my buddy Jeremy told me I should do something with this, with my little writings, and I think we're going to. I'm going to do the violent history. And I think I did in the past, violent history of the stream or something like that. But I'm going to do violent history, and I've written some history lessons in the past. I've got about 15 of them right now, and I think we're going to bring that into the podcast. I'll do little segments of violent history. So that will come in the future, because honestly, I don't think I could do it justice right now. I'm a little bit too fucking hammered to do it. But we will do it in the future episodes. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, regardless if you thought I was too hammered or you didn't think I was too hammered or you still enjoyed it. It's all good. It's nonsense. And I love you. From the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart. I can't even say it. I'm so drunk. I'm just going to end it here. Goodbye.
If you like this episode, please consider subscribing to us on Patreon by visiting patreon.com/violentprofessional. By subscribing, you have access to all the episodes as soon as we upload, as well as bonus content that you can't see anywhere else. You can also support us by simply giving us a positive rating on your listening platform of choice. And above all, thank you for the continued support of the Violent Professional Podcast.